we're going to do a recap lesson on timelines and what they are to help better conceptualize. This is the first time I'm teaching on the board like this. I saw somebody else do it and I was like, oh, I'm going to do that too. Because I know some people are visual learners. And so if that is you, hopefully this helps you as well. So timelines are different probabilities based on your decisions and level of consciousness. They are paths which you get on based on the beliefs, thoughts, and actions that you're taking in your present consciousness. So you shift that, and now we're taking different actions based on our thoughts, based off of our beliefs, and we're going to see some examples here. So this is you in the present right now, today. These are your inner children back here. Let's say that this one is 15, 12, 9, 3. These are future you. Based off of where you are resonating in your consciousness and your thoughts and beliefs is going to determine where you head in the future. There are multiple higher self versions of you, not just time related, because there's a higher self that's a year from now and 5 years and 10 years and 15 years. But then there's also higher selves in a parallel reality, okay? So this means that this is you in the present. You could potentially shift to this new higher self tomorrow, a year, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from now, that look very similar to one another, but are very different in the paths that they are taking based off of what you have decided to think or take action on now, okay? So these over here are different incarnations of you. And depending on where your consciousness is in the present, depends on what incarnations you have access to. Now, these incarnations also have parallel timeline versions of them based on the different decisions, actions, and thoughts that they have had. And so, let's say that you connect to Charlie here, who's a different incarnation of you. So, there is a version of him that decided to be a doctor, that decided to be a lawyer, and that decided to be a dentist. You are riding the waves of the Akashic records and finding the version of Charlie who is in most resonance with your now incarnation. But in order to find that, your thoughts, beliefs, and actions and decisions have to match up with the Charlie that you're trying to find, because otherwise you could find a different version of him and him not quite be in vibrational resonance with the things that you need in this incarnation. I'm going to give an example of that, okay? So we're going to take you in the present right here. So let's say that you're going to go get a job. You're going to go get a career. So there are 3 different thoughts that you could think. Obviously, there's like a billion different ones, but for the context. When we are job searching, we could say, I am not confident. My stomach is all hanging out here. That's fine. Okay. We're in a crop top. I am not confident. The next thought, I am working on my confidence. Third thought, I am confident. Those are all resonating on different frequencies that are going to lead to different paths that you can be on. So let's say I am not confident. If you are going into an interview, you may not get the job, okay? Because that is the frequency that you are sending out into ethers, into the quantum field, and saying, I'm not good enough for this. Then we go, I am working on my confidence. That is a higher level thought and is going to get you a lot further. So let's say that you get into the interview and you do really well because you're feeling the confidence, okay? However, you just take the job as it is. Whatever stipulations come with that, you're like, okay, I just want this job. Now, let's go over to I am confident. If we are going into the interview like that and we know what our value is and our worth, you may say, I'm going to ask them to raise this salary by $5,000 and give me extra PTO, and I'm going to ask if I can work from home for several of these days, and then they say yes. Or, they negotiate or whatever, but you get more than what you thought you were going to in the first place because you know your worth. So, same person, 3 different paths depending on what their thought patterns are. Now, we know that thoughts come from beliefs. Your beliefs are programmed into you when you were a child or when you're a teen, either by your parents, caretakers, religion, society, culture, social media. Your beliefs are where all of your thoughts are coming from. So in order to have new thoughts, we need to figure out what's going on with our beliefs. Whatever thoughts that we are thinking determines our actions. The actions determine the timeline or the path that we are on, and the timeline and the path determine the outcomes and experiences that we have in our reality. So, in order for you in the present to shift from I am not confident to I am confident, where you have the best possible outcome in your reality, we need to figure out which one of these inner children over here made us not feel confident in the first place. Not because of your own doing, because of a variety of things that have happened in life. So when we determine which one of these inner children has that root trauma, and we go back and heal their timeline, their consciousness, then we shift in the present, and then we have a different future. When you help your inner children heal back here, it also shifts them onto a higher frequency timeline with you. Now you all get to have a better experience together. For the example with the different incarnations and which ones that you will have access to, I had a client earlier who has dealt with a lot of loneliness and isolation in this incarnation because of trauma from childhood. And so she was choosing a path or a timeline that was perpetuating that, where she was getting more and more isolated from others and having dissonance, but she was wanting a soul tribe. And I said, okay, well, we need to work up the frequency scale. This is down, but technically it's up. We need to work up the frequency scale and shift your perspectives and figure out where this stuff came from in the first place so you can start releasing that. So she asked me, I have a bunch of incarnations who also dealt with isolation and not wanting to be around other people. Is that affecting me here? I said, yes, it is. But the only reason that it's affecting you is because those are the incarnations that you're seeking. You are looking for those because you're trying to find the reason why this is happening in this one too. But do you think that they have the tools and resources that you need? Because obviously they don't. They live their lives in isolation and then they were stuck there. What would be a better avenue for you to go down is try and find timelines or different incarnations that have really harmonious, beautiful relationships where they had great times with their family members and their friends and their soul tribe members and their clients. If they were energy healers, practitioners, they are on the other side of healing and can give you the guidance and the insight and the knowledge and the wisdom that you need. So when I connected with her, her present day consciousness was not allowing her to see the incarnations that she needed to in order to shift, based on the trauma here with her inner children. And so when we shifted her perspective, figuring out where's the goal that we want to get to, working backwards and saying, okay, well, what's blocking you back here with your inner children? Okay, figure that out. Now come forward. What's the new thought pattern? What are the new beliefs that we need to have? What are the actions that we need to take in order to be on that new path? Great. Now we can expand out in your Akasha fields and find other timelines that are also in congruence with that and ask them for advice so you can double time your healing and your acceleration on your ascension journey. In synopsis, we need to take the thoughts that we're having right now, shift the beliefs in order to have new thoughts so you can take new action steps, get yourself on a new timeline, a new path, and have new outcomes and experiences. And we find where those beliefs come from the inner children and the teens, or even from different incarnations, and then we shift in the present to move forward.